In the vast, cold darkness of space, a small spacecraft drifted silently. Its metallic hull bore the scars of a long and difficult journey. Inside, Yunji lay unconscious, her breathing slow and shallow. The ship's systems blinked weakly, struggling to maintain life support. Hyunwoo's reconnaissance vessel cut through the darkness, its powerful sensors scanning the endless black. He was a seasoned captain, used to the lonely stretches of deep space exploration. Something caught his eye, a faint signal, almost too weak to detect. "Scan again," he told his young navigator Jisoo. Her fingers danced across the control panel, bringing the mysterious signal into sharper focus. The damaged ship was unlike anything they had seen before. Its design was foreign, with curves and angles that defied standard spacecraft engineering. Yunji's vessel had clearly been through a terrible ordeal. Micro-impacts peppered its exterior, and one entire side showed signs of a massive energy blast. Hyunwoo made a quick decision. "Prepare for rescue operation," he commanded, his voice calm but firm. The docking procedure was delicate. Hyunwoo's years of training became crucial as he carefully aligned their ship with the damaged craft. Jisoo monitored the complex technical readouts, her hands steady despite the tension. As the airlock connected, warning lights flickered across both ships' control panels. The alien vessel's atmosphere was thin, oxygen levels critically low. Hyunwoo knew they had limited time. He pulled on his environmental suit, checking each seal with practiced precision. Two of his most experienced crew members would accompany him, Min Seo, the medical specialist, and Jae Hyuk, their engineering expert. The interior of the alien ship was dark and cold. Strange symbols covered the walls, pulsing with a faint blue light. Yunji lay crumpled near the main control panel, her body almost transparent in the dim emergency lighting. "Life signs are weak," Min Seo reported, her medical scanner working overtime. "She's not from any known species in our database." Jae Hyuk worked quickly to stabilize the ship's critical systems. "We've got maybe 30 minutes before total system failure," he called out. Hyunwoo carefully approached Yunji. Her skin seemed to shimmer, changing colors slightly with each labored breath. He could see intricate patterns beneath her skin, almost like living circuitry. Min Seo prepared a universal medical stabilizer. They had no idea if it would work on this alien physiology, but it was their only option. The moment the stabilizer made contact, something unexpected happened. Yunji's body began to react, not violently but with a strange synchronized pulse. Her eyes flickered open, revealing irises that seemed to contain entire galaxies. For a moment, time stood still. Hyunwoo found himself locked in her gaze, sensing something beyond mere survival. There was a story here, a journey of pain, of loss, of desperate escape. "We're going to help you," Hyunwoo said softly, knowing she might not understand the words but hoping his tone would convey safety. Jae Hyuk completed the emergency repairs, creating a temporary bridge between their ship's systems and the alien vessel. Jisoo began the careful process of preparing for transport. As they moved Yunji to their medical bay, her body continued to pulse with those strange, beautiful patterns. She was neither fully conscious nor completely unconscious, existing in a state between survival and surrender. Hyunwoo watched her, something stirring in his chest. This was more than a standard rescue. Something about this moment felt like the beginning of something much larger. The ship's engines hummed to life, carrying them away from the empty darkness. Yunji lay still, her breath slowly becoming more regular. Her journey, their journey, was just beginning. Outside the viewport, stars stretched into infinite lines of light, silent witnesses to an unexpected encounter that would change everything. In the medical bay, Yunji slowly regained consciousness. Strange white lights hummed overhead, and strange devices beeped around her. Her body felt heavy, different from before her rescue. Hyunwoo watched carefully from a distance. Min Seo, the medical specialist, checked various monitors and strange scanning devices. The alien patient's skin continued to change colors, soft blues, pale greens, uncertain grays. "She's stabilizing," Minxia whispered to Hyunwoo. But her biology is completely different from anything we've seen. Yunji's eyes opened slowly. They were not like human eyes. They seemed to have depth, like looking into liquid crystal. She tried to move but found herself connected to multiple medical tubes and monitoring devices. Panic began to rise in her chest. Her breathing became faster, and the medical equipment started to react. The colors on her skin shifted rapidly, from calm blue to sharp, aggressive red. Hyunwoo stepped forward, raising his hands slowly. "We mean you no harm," he said, knowing she likely couldn't understand his words. Something unexpected happened. A small translation device on the nearby table began to emit sounds. Broken words emerged, struggling to create meaning. "Safe?" The device translated her body's color changes into a simple question. Minxia looked shocked. "The translation technology is reading her biological responses," she explained to Hyunwoo. "Her entire body seems to communicate." Yunji's skin began shifting between soft blues and cautious greens. She was trying to understand her environment, to assess whether these beings were truly trying to help her. Hyunwoo noticed a small wound on her arm. It wasn't bleeding like a human wound would. Instead, it seemed to be slowly rebuilding itself, tiny silver-like threads weaving together. "Remarkable healing," Jae-hyuk muttered, watching the wound close before their eyes. The ship's artificial gravity felt strange to Yunji. Her body was used to different physical conditions. Each movement required careful concentration. Slowly, she managed to sit up. The medical tubes automatically disconnected, sensing her movement. Her eyes darted around the room, taking in every small detail. Hyunwoo remained calm. He understood that any sudden movement could trigger her defensive responses. His years of space exploration had taught him patience. "Water," the translation device suddenly produced. It was more a request than a statement. Minxia carefully brought a transparent container, but when she approached, Yunji recoiled. The water looked different from what she was used to. Hyunwoo noticed her reaction. He took the container, touched a small button, and the liquid inside changed composition. Now it looked more like a silvery, slightly glowing liquid. Yunji's skin turned a curious shade of green, a color that seemed to indicate interest and reduced fear. As she carefully took the container, her fingers brushed against Hyunwoo's hand. For a brief moment, something passed between them. Not just a physical touch, but a sense of shared understanding. The ship continued its journey through space. Stars moved past the viewport like distant, silent witnesses to this strange first contact. Yunji's body continued its color dance, telling a story more complex than words could express. She was alive. She was safe. And she was beginning to understand that these humans might be different from anything she had experienced before. Hyunwoo watched her, sensing that this encounter was just the beginning of something much larger. The universe, vast and mysterious, had brought them together for a reason neither could yet understand. Outside, space remained infinite and silent, holding its breath for what might come next. Days passed slowly on the spacecraft. Yunji gradually became more comfortable with her human rescuers. Hyunwoo spent hours trying to communicate, using simple drawings, gestures, and the translation device that seemed to read her body's complex language. Her skin had become less defensive, now showing soft blues and gentle greens whenever Hyunwoo approached. The crew noticed how she watched everything with intense curiosity. She was learning, absorbing information like a sponge. Minxia discovered that Yunji responded best to visual information. They created simple teaching screens that showed basic concepts: space, planets, human technology. Each time she understood something new, her skin would shimmer with a bright, excited silver. Jae-hyuk was fascinated by her biological systems. Her body could adapt to different environments almost instantly. When the ship's temperature changed, her skin would adjust, creating protective layers or becoming more permeable. One day, Hyunwoo shared stories about Earth. He showed her images of oceans, mountains, and cities. Yunji's reaction was unexpected. Her entire body seemed to resonate with the images, colors flowing like liquid emotions. The translation device struggled to capture the full depth of her responses. Sometimes it would produce simple words: beautiful, alive, connected. Jisoo, the young navigator, noticed that Eunji was particularly interested in stories of human survival. Tales of people overcoming impossible challenges seemed to fascinate her most. Slowly, a language developed between them. Not just words, but a complex communication of colors, subtle body movements, and shared understanding. Hyunwoo realized they were creating something entirely new, a bridge between two completely different species. Eunji began to share fragments of her own story. Her body would change colors as she communicated. Deep reds for pain, soft purples for loss, sharp silvers for moments of conflict. The crew learned about her previous civilization, a society far more rigid and less emotional than human culture. She had been running from something. That much was clear. Her initial rescue wasn't just about survival. It was an escape. Hyunwoo could see the pain hidden in her color patterns, the fear that still lingered beneath her growing comfort. During mealtimes, the crew discovered Eunji's unique dietary needs. She didn't eat like humans. Instead, she absorbed nutrients through her skin, taking in energy from special compounds Minseo carefully prepared. Weeks passed. The ship continued its journey through the vast emptiness of space. Eunji's understanding grew. She learned to operate simple control panels to understand basic human social interactions. Hyunwoo noticed something changing between them. It wasn't romantic. It was something deeper. A connection of mutual understanding, of respect for each other's differences. One evening during a quiet moment, Eunji approached Hyunwoo. Her skin displayed a complex pattern of blues and silvers, a language of gratitude and trust. The translation device struggled to capture the full meaning. Home, it finally translated. Different, but home. Hyunwoo understood. This ship, these people, they had become her new home, a place of safety, of learning, of healing. Outside the viewport, stars continued their silent dance. Galaxies stretched into infinite darkness, holding the promise of more discoveries, more connections waiting to be made. Eunji's journey was far from over, but for the first time since her escape, she felt something she had never experienced before: hope. Her body glowed softly, a gentle silver that spoke of peace, of healing, of a new beginning found in the most unexpected of places. The ship moved forward, carrying its unlikely crew through the vast, mysterious universe. The solar storm came without warning. Massive energy waves crashed against the ship's shields, turning space into a violent, unpredictable battlefield. Alarms screamed through the spacecraft. Red emergency lights flashed everywhere. Hyunwoo gripped the central control panel, his face set with intense concentration. Eunji's body reacted instantly. Her skin transformed into a complex pattern of defensive metallic colors, responding to the technological threat faster than any human computer could process. "Shields at 60%, Jisoo shouted. Her fingers flew across the control panels, trying to redistribute power. Jae-hyuk looked panicked. "We can't sustain another direct energy wave, we'll be torn apart." Eunji moved closer to the control systems. Her body began to merge with the ship's technology, not physically, but through some extraordinary biological connection. Colors shifted rapidly across her skin, creating complex patterns that seemed to communicate directly with the spacecraft's core systems. Hyunwoo watched in amazement. Her entire body was becoming a living computer, interpreting the solar storm's energy patterns and developing defensive strategies. "She's reading the storm's molecular structure," Minseo whispered. "Impossible. But she's doing it." The ship's shields began to stabilize. Where human technology struggled, Eunji's unique biological systems found solutions. Her skin glowed with intense silver and blue patterns, a language of survival and adaptation. Massive energy waves continued to strike the spacecraft. Each impact would have destroyed a normal ship, but Eunji's intervention created complex protective fields that absorbed and redirected the solar storm's destructive potential. Hyunwoo realized they were witnessing something extraordinary. This wasn't just survival. This was a perfect fusion of biological intelligence and technological response. Minutes felt like hours. The solar storm raged outside, a massive wall of destructive energy that could crush their ship in seconds. But inside, Yunji stood connected to the ship's systems, her body a living shield. Jisoo monitored the technical readouts in disbelief. "Shields at 95% and holding," she reported, her voice shaking with a mixture of fear and excitement. Jae-hyuk couldn't believe what he was seeing. How is she doing this? Yunji's response came through the translation device. Survival, connection, adaptation. Her body continued to pulse with complex colors, communication happening at a level far beyond human understanding. She was talking. To the ship, to the storm, finding pathways of survival that no computer could calculate. Slowly, the solar storm began to pass. The massive energy waves reduced, becoming smaller, less frequent. Yunji's body gradually disconnected from the ship's systems, her skin returning to softer, calmer colors. Hyunwoo approached her. No words were necessary. The look they shared spoke of something profound, a moment of true partnership, of survival against impossible odds. "We made it," Hyunwoo said simply. Yunji's skin responded with a soft, grateful green, a color that seemed to say more than words ever could. The ship drifted in the aftermath of the storm. Star systems slowly came back into view, peaceful and unchanged. But everything inside the spacecraft had fundamentally transformed. Min-seo began medical scans, checking everyone's condition, but her attention kept returning to Yunji. How was such a biological response even possible? "She saved us," Jisoo whispered, still in shock. Jae-hyuk nodded. "More than that, she showed us something we've never seen before." Outside, space returned to its usual silence. The solar storm was gone, leaving behind only subtle energy traces and one extraordinary story of survival. Yunji stood quietly, her body slowly returning to its normal state. She had become more than a passenger. She was now a true member of the crew, a protector, a survivor, a bridge between two different worlds. The diplomatic station appeared like a massive crystal floating in space. Hundreds of species from different galaxies gathered here, a place of complex negotiations and delicate interactions. Hyunwoo knew this would be Yunji's first major test. Her entire journey had led to this moment, proving that communication could transcend biological boundaries. Yunji's skin displayed a mixture of colors, soft blues of curiosity, sharp silvers of determination. She wore a specialized suit designed to help her communicate more effectively with different species. As they entered the massive central chamber, alien representatives turned to look. Some watched with curiosity, others with suspicion. Humans were still considered newcomers in the galactic community. Jisoo stood nearby, monitoring communication systems. Jae-hyuk carried technical documents that could potentially change interstellar relationships. Min-seo remained close to Yunji, ready to provide any necessary support. The lead diplomat, an elder from a reptilian species, approached first. Traditional protocols demanded careful introductions, but Yunji's unique ability to communicate through color and biological responses created an unexpected opportunity. Her skin began to shift, creating complex patterns that seemed to translate emotions and intentions directly. The reptilian diplomat watched, fascinated. Remarkable, the translator device captured the diplomat's response. "Never seen such direct communication," Hyunwoo observed carefully. Yunji was doing something extraordinary, breaking through communication, barriers that had existed for generations. Hours of discussions followed. Yunji demonstrated how her species could bridge technological and biological gaps. She showed technical solutions that combined human innovation with her own unique biological intelligence. The diplomatic chamber became alive with potential. Species that had previously struggled to understand each other now watched in amazement. As Yunji created new pathways of communication, suddenly a complex technical problem emerged during negotiations. Where traditional methods would have failed, Yunji's unique abilities provided an immediate innovative solution. Her skin glowed with intense colors, a living, breathing communication system that translated complex ideas faster than any known technology. The other species began to see her not as an alien, but as a potential bridge between different civilizations. Her journey from a damaged spacecraft to this diplomatic center represented something more than individual survival. Yunwu felt a sense of pride. This was more than a rescue mission. This was the beginning of something much larger, a new understanding of connection and communication. As negotiations concluded, the lead diplomat approached Yunji directly. Traditional protocols were forgotten. Instead, a moment of genuine connection happened. Species barriers temporarily dissolved. "You represent hope." The translator device captured the diplomat's words. Yunji's response came through a complex color pattern: blues of understanding, silvers of potential, soft greens of peaceful intention. The diplomatic station's central computer began analyzing her communication methods. Scientists from multiple species gathered, fascinated by this new approach to understanding. Hyunwoo realized their journey had changed everything. What started as a simple rescue had become a potential turning point for galactic communication. That evening, as their team prepared to leave, Yunji approached Hyunwoo. Her skin displayed a complex pattern of gratitude and connection. "Home," the translation device produced, but this time, the word meant something different. Not a physical place, but a sense of belonging. Hyunwoo understood. Their connection had become something beyond rescue, beyond friendship. They had created a new path of understanding. Outside the diplomatic station, stars continued their silent dance. Galaxies stretched into infinite darkness, holding countless untold stories of connection and potential. Yunji's journey was far from over, but she was no longer alone. She had found more than safety. She had found purpose. Her body glowed softly, a beacon of hope, a living testament to the power of understanding, of survival, of new beginnings. The spacecraft prepared for its next journey, carrying with it a story that would be remembered for generations.